Any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Their coach has a personality that is New York City. Tough, grinding, defensive, no holds barred. We muck this game up and we make you play it our way. And Tibbs has been rewarded. And he should be rewarded for what he's done with the Knicks.
Betting above the rim, only.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pistol players, the hustlers, the people of Boston, and everybody else in between. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. Sirius XM channel 159 on the SportsGrid radio and television networks. Let's do this thing. The torch has been lit, and the Olympics continue to be straight to fire. World records finally broken, and all kinds of awesomeness going on in France. We'll be breaking it all down this evening. We're now just hours away from tee-off. We spent a lot of time over the past couple of months looking forward to the Olympic golf tournament. While it's here, it tees off at 3 o'clock Eastern this morning, midnight Pacific. You know we've got picks for you. The Ranger Redhead Cam Stewart's got a full golf bag full of picks. Brady Cannon will be in the house with us, one of the best golf cappers in the business. I've got a six-pack ready to go, and I'm ready to jump in to this Olympic tournament. We've got Olympic fever. Let's start off, though, right now, quickly on the Major League Baseball Diamond for stuff that you can actually bet on now. My Los Angeles Dodgers getting punched in the mouth, 7-1. San Diego smoking hot right now. We talked about San Diego last night. They're a dangerous baseball team that can play with anybody, right? They're not intimidated by the Dodgers. They beat the Dodgers in the playoffs. And, you know, quite frankly, if you look at the National League, who can San Diego not play with? I think you're getting a great number for San Diego to, number one, to make the playoffs. San Diego will make the playoffs. Number two, when they get into the playoffs, they're going to be a tough out. All right, so you're getting double digits for them just to win the National League and put yourself in a nice, even potential hedge situation. Although, you know, we never hedge. But you could if you wanted to, right? I always say that, hey, put yourself in a hedge. And then it arrives, I'm like, no, I'm not hedging. I didn't hedge when we had $110,000 at stake in the Hilton Super contest. So if I didn't hedge then, and we knew going in there was a difference of $55,000. It was basically if the Packers win the game, we'll win $110,000. If they don't win the game, we'll win $57,000. Like we knew before the game, we were given like a gift almost. All right, you can hedge this if you want. And I didn't. I figured, you know what? If our picks were good enough all year to be in 8th place in the Super contest, we didn't get here by hedging. We got here by, betting on what we liked. I lost the game. I'll never forget. It was Aaron Rodgers. I was on the Green Bay Packers, and they lost to the Minnesota Vikings and Teddy Bridgewater. The game was in Green Bay, too, on a Sunday night, and it was for the division. So for all of you buying into the New York Jets, good luck with that. Aaron Rodgers has been choking for 15 years strong, okay? Like, when did Rodgers win the Super Bowl? When did the Packers win the Super Bowl? Like, seriously, what year was that? 2012 or something? It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you want to buy in. Think about it off the top of my head. He lost to Kaepernick. He lost a bunch of times to Eli Manning, like in the cold and like all kinds of games. But now, the Jets. Oh, watch out for the Jets. Yeah, watch out for the Jets crash. That's what you got to watch out for. Keep your head up. That New York Jet. The New York Jet, you better duck. So Major League Baseball going on here this evening, but we're going to focus in on the Olympics. Team USA against South Sudan. Man, this South Sudan team is something else. And how about that our boy Royale Ivy is the head coach of South Sudan, which is super cool. And for newer Rageaholics that have been tuning into the show, we've been doing this, going on 22 years now. So, we've had a lot of different like audiences and different, regular guests and stuff. But Royale Ivy, we used to be lucky. We used to have an NBA player that joined me like twice a week type of deal from the road. It was like super cool. Like we get calls from like the Atlanta Hawks. I was like I had the Atlanta Hawks covered. And like, if you guys remember, like, he'd call me from the club and stuff. He'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm here with KD right now, man. And, like, it was, like, great stuff. But Royale Ivy is the head coach of South Sudan. These guys can ball. That's going to be a really interesting game, man, against Serbia. All right? Like, the winner advances. That's a big-time basketball game. Serbia drilled Puerto Rico today. They did cover the number. The USA looked pretty good. South Sudan just sort of kept, like, punching back, and they traded buckets. The U.S. ended up, scoring more than they did. But, the point spread, early in the game, it sort of looked like, oh, boy. Like, it was 26-12, I think, after the 26-14. 26-14 after the first quarter. I remember I was like, man, they're already down by 12. This isn't good. And then, like, it got to, like, 20 and stuff in the second quarter, and I was thinking, oh, boy, if they're already down by 18 and 20, this, like, we're in trouble with South Sudan. And, but you know what? South Sudan, they kind of knew, listen, we're going to be in tough to win. And don't forget, point differential matters in the Olympics. I think this is something, actually, they should do in the NBA. Like, the NBA is always sort of looking for things that, they want to make the league more competitive. But their ideas of more competitiveness is always just somehow, how can we make more money out of this? And they'll come up with some stupid in-season tournament or something like that. But the NBA really should go to point differential. Make point differential a bigger part of the standings. And suddenly you won't have garbage time. You won't have as many blowouts because teams won't quit. And that was the thing. South Sudan didn't quit. They didn't say, well, we're going to lose the game, so let's just not try. Right? No, they said, all right, listen, we're not going to win the game, but point differential could matter whether we qualify or not. So we got to keep scoring. Just, score as much as we can to try to get as many points as we can, and it makes it more interesting. But what do I know? I'm not the commissioner of the National Basketball Association. So we gave you we've been giving you a ton of Olympic bets, and we're starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm right now. We did very well with the rugby sevens. We went 3-1 today with the 3-on-3 basketball. And if you guys remember, for those of you that pay attention, I stood on the rooftops and told everybody the U.S. will not win 3-on-3 basketball. All right, I told you, I think Canada's going to win a gold medal in the women's, and they're looking really good. They're the favorites right now to win. And the U.S. team gets thrown together, Jimmy Fredette and a bunch of dudes, whatever, they're getting smoked, all right? They're 0-2. Right now. So it's not looking so good for the 3-on-3 crew. But as far as the men are concerned, the men rolling. Bam Adebayo had a nice game today. The U.S. depth is just too much for teams to deal with. That's the whole thing. Like South Sudan, their starters were hanging with the USA starters. Like with the Currys and the LeBrons and stuff. And Kerr was like, I got to make a change. Like they were trading baskets. And it was like, 2018 or whatever. They're going back and forth So after it was 26-12, the South Sudan went on a big run. Next thing you know, it was like a 6-point game, a 7-point game, and Kerr had to change the lineup. Other teams don't really have that luxury, right? It's like, well, you know what? Listen, LeBron and Curry and these guys aren't working, so let's go to Anthony Edwards and and everybody else. So they're so deep, and they're also so big. The USA, man, on the boards are a real problem, real load to deal with as far as blocking shots. But Bam Adebayo, 8 for 10 from the field, 103-86 was the final score. And the total, of course, was 191 and a half, and it came down to the final 3 that was blocked at the end. It nearly went over. Didn't have any business getting there, and it didn't look like it was going to get there, but it did get there. Speaking of getting there, Team Canada's women's soccer team got caught up in one of the Olympic controversies in which they were caught flying a drone over the New Zealand practice. They were penalized immediately and deducted 6 of a possible 9 points. So there's 3 possible points to get in a soccer game. You got 3 games, you get 9 points. They started out at -6. They managed to go 3-0 and qualify. And Canada, despite being -6 points, take the us against the world mentality and beat Colombia today. And now we'll face the Germans on Saturday in the quarterfinals. Let's roll. This is SportsRage.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and I have my respect, and I'm into this game, yeah, we'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The pistol players, the hustlers, the people who bust them, and everybody else in between. The Olympic Games are rolling on right now. And we had an epic day in the pool today. And in fact, it was some people, as I called them last week, the swim nerds are saying that today was the greatest day of swimming in the history of swimming. And that's coming from the biggest swimming expert of them all, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps today tweeted and sent a message to Léon Marchand of France and told him what you did today was the greatest feat in the history of swimming, in men's swimming. It was that impressive. To put in context, it really is unbelievable. No swimmer has ever won the 200-meter intermedley and the 200-meter butterfly before in their careers. He did it in a span of 2 hours today. You know how hard that is? He raced 2 races in 2 different disciplines in the same day and smoked the field in both of them. Like, you know, like these swimmers conserve their energy, man, in the first meet, in the semifinal meet. They only can give so much. Like, he went all out basically 6 times. Like, you know, first heat, semifinal meet, finals, first meet, semifinal meet, finals, won 2 gold medals in a day in front of his home nation, France, and just a spectacular, dominant performance that one for the ages, that even Michael Phelps said, dude, you just did the most incredible feat in the history of swimming, what you accomplished today. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Katie Ledecky won her 8th gold medal today, and I think her opponents are still trying to catch up. We'll show you a graphic of just how far ahead she was of everybody. So a spectacular day in the pool. Summer McIntosh jumps in the pool in the morning, gunning for gold as well. But we've got golf teeing off at 3 a.m. Eastern time tonight. Brady Cannon is back in the rotation. Good to see you, Brady, tonight. I've been looking forward to seeing what your golf picks are. Let's rock. How you doing, Brady?
Hey, great to be with you guys. Things apparently going swimmingly for Marchand and Ledecky. That is really amazing. But yeah, great to be back with you guys talking golf. I really, Cam, I wonder what your take on this is, and you too, Gabe. I'm really kind of excited about this Olympic competition. It doesn't feel like a major. It doesn't feel like a signature event. It kind of feels to me like a Ryder Cup, like that international global feel. Maybe the Europeans have a little bit of an edge. You know, you got 25, 30 stars in this field from all over the world. And, you know, I think there's some guys out there like Scheffler and Xander that, you know, have kind of been there and done that all year. Are they really hell-bent on winning gold? And then you have guys like Shane Lowry and Rahm and some of these guys that probably would kill to have their hands on that medal. So it's really an interesting handicap, and I think it's going to be an exciting event to watch.
I'll tell you what, all you need to know about the tone, Brady and Cam, and remember we talked about this 2 weeks ago when I said I expect it to sort of have that Ryder Cup, more confrontational feel to it, more so than an Olympic, hey, you're all Olympian feel. And all you need to know is when Rory McIlroy was asked about the rough, and they said, Rory, what's the rough like here? Is it as bad as the Ryder Cup? And he goes, I don't know. Ask the American players. They were the ones that were in it. That's all. That's all you need to know. And deadpan, just boom. He gets to the Olympics and just shade at the Americans right away. Right. This is what he does. Just shade at the Americans right away. And come on, bro. Anyone who's watched the Olympics, and I'm watching it all, the French fans are electric. Like, so I don't know, like, if it's going to carry over to the golf course. I kind of think it will to a certain extent, but it's great stuff. So it's the same golf course that actually played at the Ryder Cup in 2018 before. And of course, Cam and Brady, no golfer has ever won a major and a gold medal in the same year before. What, Justin Rose didn't win a major the year Justin Rose won the gold medal, and then Xander won the gold medal. So they didn't pull it off. Scheffler and Xander Schauffele both have that opportunity to do so. But I can tell, Brady, I remember a couple of weeks ago, and you just brought up the same thing, and I'm never going to even pretend to know, 2% about golf as you do, but I do vehemently disagree with you. And a guy that you won money on, I think Xander wants this badly. I think, you know what? And in fact, he doesn't change. And I just read a quote. I was just reading about Scheffler, and Scheffler and Schauffele were practicing together here. They're already there. They're practicing together. And Scheffler said, man, he goes, this guy, he goes, you wouldn't be able to tell that he's won majors or lost majors. It's true. He goes, he's the exact same all the time. And he goes, this guy, he's just won, hasn't changed him at all. He goes, he's the exact same way, and he's straight laser focused on this week. He lives in the now all the time, this guy, Cam. He doesn't worry what people think about him. He doesn't overstress it. He just shows up and plays, and I think that helps him, like I called him, robotic. And you know he reminds me of in a sense, although I think this guy was more robotic. And if you remember him, Brady, in the tennis world, but remember Ivan Lendl? In an era of Connors and McEnroe and Borg and these emotional personalities, Lendl was this guy from the Czech Republic. Boom, 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 boom. Machine. No emotion. No emotion. And he just sprinkle in a Grand Slam major, 1 or 2 a year, every couple of years.
You know, Scotty's like that career. Too. Scotty's pretty stoic out there. He doesn't show a whole lot. But you're right. Nope. Xander's kind of the next level. Xander is robotic, but Scotty doesn't get flustered at all, and you can't really tell if he's shooting 75 or 65.
Let's remember one thing, too. Xander was a guy that always fell short. This was similar to Scheffler. We forget about Scheffler. Used to be missing second place. And then, Gabe, we talked about it. When he breaks through, he's going to break through. He's number one in the world. Now, Xander's got the 2 majors. He used to always collapse at the end. And he had a rough upbringing. Like, his dad was kind of hard on him, too. But he's been one of those guys. Like, and you saw at the end when he broke down with his father, because he was a guy that said, you have the talent, son. You can do this. You can finish. And now I worry about, like, if I'm the other guys on the tour, good luck. Because Xander now has that, and he already has that stoic personality. I'd be very worried. All these guys. He's going to be the number 1 player in the world, in my opinion.
Xander should be favored, in my opinion, in this tournament.
Incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night it is going to be. Historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So just to quickly set the format here for the Olympics, 60 players. There's no cut in the Olympics, so there's no to make the cut bets. And out of the 60 players, I don't know, I guess you could make an argument that maybe 20 of them have a chance. So it's kind of like let's be real. I mean, half the players don't have a hope in hell of winning this tournament, right? That are here. What would you say, Brady, is the percentage of players that you think could win in this field? Because it's very top heavy and it's super impressive at the top, but it gets pretty thin at the bottom, right? So out of the 60, how many guys are really in contention in your opinion? 10, 8, 12?
I think it's more than that. It's a great point that you make, though. You know, it's not a quote unquote loaded field. It's a loaded 15, 20 guys. And a really strong 15 or 20 guys. I would say how many guys can win it? I think you go about 20 deep, and there's possibly a long bomb out there too. I mean, 4 years ago, would you ever expect that Rory Sabatini and CT Pan were going to take silver and bronze? No. So I mean, you know,
I think I'm going to surprise you with my picks. Actually, my guys
are
whatever. I'm not saying
70-1. You know, I think there are. You mentioned before we came on Victor Perez. He's obviously got home cooking, you know, on his side here, the home crowd. He's an extremely good player. So is Matthew Pavon. There's a couple of Frenchmen representing here on their home turf that are, you know, in the neighborhood of triple digits, 100-1. And I think they're relatively live as well. So I think probably as deep as you can go is about 30. And realistically, it's maybe more like 18.
So who do you have, Brady, on your ticket? Who do you got? Who do you like?
Well, I really added probably more players than I should have. I started out with 4, and then I was teetering on who would be my 5th guy, and then late today I added 2 more. So I started with
I'm sure you'll probably add a couple of more before tee off too.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4 more. You know, I've got to have an even 10 before I go to bed today. No. So it's a 7-pack, but I started with Morikawa and Rahm. And I think what we've been talking about both on and off air here, Morikawa seems like a perfect candidate. Not only does he match up with the stats, extremely accurate off the tee, iron player, scrambler, you know, he fits the golf course very, very well. But he's also had so many near misses this year. He's been on the heels of Scheffler and Schauffele all year, coming up short each and every time. And this guy's going, okay, here's one more chance to really grab a sweet, big, prestigious prize, and it you know gets me into some momentum into next season. Okay, and then Rahm had that transition he was struggling with to live. He had finished top 10 in every event. He was lousy in the majors. He finally kicks the door down and wins last week, and it brought tears to his eyes. I think he is now of the mindset, guys, I'm back. I got the taste again. I figured it out. And Scotty and Xander, I want to show you that, I'm not out of sight, out of mind anymore. Just because I play somewhere else, I'm still frickin' John Rahm, and I'm going to, and he's European. He's got that mentality, that Ryder Cup. I'm on my turf. I've played this golf course more than you have, and I'm going to go get it. Then I went to Lowry, who is such a prideful countryman. He was the flag bearer for Ireland. He let that Open slip through his hands a little bit a couple weeks ago. I think he wants to atone for that. He's another guy I think is perfect for this golf course. And then I went with your guy, Corey Connors. I think there's a lot of country pride there with the President's Cup coming up. This guy's also been playing much better across the pond as of late. 4 straight cuts in the Open Championship, 3 straight cuts in the Scottish Open. He's been playing very, very well in link-style golf. I think he's a threat with being very accurate off the tee and his ball striking. And then my long bomb was Thomas Dietrich, who's been a terrific player all season long. He's got more experience at this golf course than anybody in the field. And then the 2 guys I added, they were guys I was going back and forth with, throughout the handicap. And I finally just said, what the heck? And I added Tommy Fleetwood and Joaquin Niemann.
I like it.
Brady Cannon's picks. We'll get more golf talk on the other side. We'll get Cam's picks a little bit later on, although let's Cam throw a couple of picks and see what Brady has to say. I will say this, though. Seems like Colin Morikawa is as trendy as that Hakuwa girl is right now.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him, all right? And you just nailed it, too. And that's the thing. My thing with Morikawa is like, yeah, all right, he checks all the boxes, but at the same point in time, he never wins. And is this the stage that he's going to pull it off at? Because this is a big stage.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night it is going to be. Historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So the course is the Club National, just outside of Paris. So as we mentioned, it had the Ryder Cup there in 2018, and it was known for being very, very vicious rough. Okay, very similar actually to the Royal Montreal Golf Club where the President's Cup going to be. That's got like deadly rough there, thick, and it causes problems for players. Tiger Woods says most challenging course I ever played when he played there at the time. So. And the thing is though, when they host the Ryder Cup, the host nation controls the golf course. It's like a baseball team controlling the grass. So they actually, as you know, Brady, they specifically said narrow the fairways for the Americans and let the rough go. The Olympic Committee is running this, and they didn't do that. The rough isn't nearly as bad, and they didn't narrow the fairway. So there should be some space, although accuracy is still obviously going to be a key here. But as I was saying, we were going to the break. I was a little bit concerned just about Morikawa's trendiness and so many people liking him and just sort of believing that this is going to be the time that he actually pulls it off. Cam, who are a couple of guys that you like that we can get Brady's take on as well?
Well, I guess I'm Hank Hipster. I took Morikawa as one of my picks. I didn't take Rahm, but he's the other hipster after these guys. Those are the two popular picks. But, Gabe, I have a 4-pack right now. I've reduced my beer consumption, losing a few lbs. Give me Aberg at 14. He's up to 16 on some books. People aren't talking about him at all. That's dangerous. I think he's very, very good for this course. Think about Aberg. He does it all. He murders the ball off the tee. He can hit short fairways, and once he gets that putter going, I think he's amazing. And you know what? He's been very, very close before. One bad shot at the Masters. Tommy Kim. Does he check the boxes, Brady? I think he does. He does a lot of good things. I know you have him as well. Hey, and Corey Connors, it's hard. It's hard. Corey Connors is one of those guys, I think he's a perfect fit for this golf course. Can he just find a way to get a hot putter during the Olympics, and then it'll be party time? So we have a few of the same guys. Those are the 4 guys that I'm looking at, Brady. I also have Dietrich for top 10s and other things, and Fleetwood, I think, is a very dangerous matchup bet as well. He played great here. Remember, him and Molinari absolutely decimated the field when this tournament was played at this course in the Ryder Cup. They murdered everybody. So Fleetwood's very comfortable here.
Yeah,
what do you think, Brady?
I like it. Tom Kim is definitely a play that I've seen a lot of sharp people endorse.
He played the French Open here.
Yeah.
He recently played the French Open.
Finished 6th.
Yeah.
Yes, last year finished 6th. There's a lot of guys. Dietrich, we mentioned, he's played very, very well here. Alex Noren, Tommy Fleetwood have both won here. John Rahm's played well here. The Morikawa thing, guys, we narrowed this field down to about 20 or 30 guys at the most, right? So whether it's the masses, the general public, the recreational players, or the sharp guys, there's going to be some crossover on who we're landing on. And I know, from a couple of bookmakers I've spoken with today, there is definitely sharp play on Colin Morikawa. There's probably also a lot of recreational play on Morikawa, and it's probably similar for Xander and Scotty too. Let's remember, I'm talking to bookmakers in the United States. The United States want to be patriotic, and they want to bet on their guys. And Wyndham Clark's probably the last guy they're going to pick. The first guys they're going to pick are going to be Xander and Scotty, and then probably Morikawa to follow up that. So even the recreational bettors that want to, fly the American flag for a few days are going to land on these guys. It doesn't mean some sharp players aren't going to either.
That's what I'm doing. My picks are like the NAFTA free trade agreement. USA and Canada. But I've got a couple of players. You guys talking about Corey Connors? I'm going to throw the dice here with Corey Connors that he can get on the podium. Yet I've got like a whacked out podium here. 1, 2, 3. All right. Gold medal winner. Xander Schauffele defends his gold medal. I'm betting on it. I believe it. I think he's going to do it. And if he doesn't, whatever, I'll cash the top 10 and top 5 bets as well. But I believe that Xander Schauffele is going to win this tournament and just put a ribbon and a bow on one of the greatest campaigns ever. I'm buying in that Corey Connors is going to be in the mix as well to get on the podium on Sunday. And you know what? I'm saying that Corey Connors wins a silver medal. And my bronze medal winner, Sepp Straka, gets on the podium.
Yeah, very good.
Thinking outside the box.
Very accurate off the tee.
Yeah, if you want to talk about from a golf analytics standpoint, he checks all the boxes on this course, doesn't he? Great iron game, great accuracy, good putter. Like he just checks all the boxes here. He's been incredibly consistent. And in fact, if you get into the numbers and the data a little bit, he's actually right up there, Brady, right behind Scheffler and Xander when you look at his metrics, actually, over like the last 16 tournaments.
I added him, Gabe. I added him. Like, it was one of those things, like we always add one guy, and it was between Neiman and him, and I went with Straka. People don't understand. Sepp Straka is a world-class player. He also knows European golf. He knows American golf. He's not afraid. He's one of those guys. He's just very dangerous. First-round leader. I think he could be a part. I think he can come out of the gate hot. I'm with you, Morency. On the price, I added Sepp Straka to my outrights. I get his price for a top 10. Like you can even get a top 20 and lay like very little juice. Like it's amazing to me how he's being disrespected a bit.
Ken,
that's why I took him.
You said you were going back and forth with Straka and Neiman. I was going back and forth with Neiman and Lowry. I landed on Lowry a couple days ago, and then I added Neiman today. So I had them both.
Exactly.
But Straka is a guy.
I was looking at Neiman as well. Actually, I think Neiman's going to be a top 10.
I think he's a sharp play, and I think Straka is too. I think Straka is a sharp play, too. I talked with a guy I have a lot of respect for, the senior manager, bookmaker at Mandalay Bay here in town. This guy knows what he's doing. He said his card would include Neiman, Abraham Ancer, and Sepp Straka if he was getting involved. So I certainly respect that pick. And, Corey Connors, obviously, we all share that sentiment there. And how can you really argue against Xander? I mean, I've picked a lot of them. You can't pick them all, but it's. I don't think you can say, he's a bad pick. He's not going to do it. I mean, and what's been the best bet? What would we should be doing every week this entire season, guys? Betting Xander top 10. We'd all be retired by now.
Yep.
He's finished in the top 10 in 7 straight major tournaments.
There you go.
Just for the record. So, as far as his consistency, that's the whole thing with Xander. And I guess you could argue Scheffler's the only, Scheffler is kind of in that conversation. But I was going to say, if you look at them, there's so many faults that the other ones have, Brady. Like, if you want to, like, who has unknowns around them? Like you said, Rory, there's always this sort of unknown. How's he going to finish? How is he going to putt? Right? So, as good as he is, there's the unknown. I'd say Rahm, maybe there's less unknowns, but he's only won once, and everyone's, he's back. Let's just see if he really is. Morikawa hasn't won on a stage like this before. Aberg hasn't won on a stage like this before. Like, if you go down the list, actually, it's almost like Xander has the least question marks around him, Brady. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt
the least
about
to worry about.
And
like, you know what you're getting from him.
Absolutely. And that's why we should all be betting him top 10 in our sleep. And maybe I'll add that. I don't have enough bets yet.
Top 10, you got to lay juice with them, but who cares? And then you go for the top 5. If we like them on the podium, you bet them top 5, and you get real good money. Like, that's the whole thing. Even on his bad days, probably going to finish in the top 10. And who cares about juice? If he finishes top 10, it doesn't matter. And he always seems to finish there.
He does. I mean, his record this year, two first places in majors, and the other 2 he was like 7th and 8th. And I don't know how long it's been since that. But, I mean, that's a historical run for a season of major championships.
As we stated, the fact that I think, as the defending champion with the least amount of sort of question marks around him, and I totally get Scheffler. Scheffler's just sort of been this kingpin. But, I still think, to me, Xander is the player to beat here. And I think if you ask Scheffler, he'd probably tell you Xander is the player to beat here. He's the defending
champ, right? Yep.
Yeah. He's the defending champ, and he's coming off the last major. He's won 2 of them. So, what more? I don't know I think he's being disrespected.
I got to wait for the one for Bruce, Gabe. On the other side, you got to hear it.
Thanks, Brady.
Thank you, guys.
Incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here, warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
Thanks to Brady Cannon for joining us. We'll go back to the Olympic golf. We've got a bunch more picks. We'll get to all of Cam's picks. I'm even going to dip. I've got a couple of top 10s, top 20s to play some odds boosts. The market that intrigues me for the Olympics, you can't, I don't know why they didn't do it. Just make it simple. Just say silver medal winner, third, whatever. But you just got to bet the top 5, right? The each way top 5 and whatever. So you're getting a little bit. You got to lay double the money. But I think that's the way to go there. But I'm interested in the nationality bets. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in who the top golfer by category in this tournament. I think there's some value there with multiple players from different countries. But interestingly enough, Straka is the only one from Austria.
Exactly.
He has to be the top. There's no category for Austria, Cam, because he's the only golfer from Austria.
Can I get Straka versus Field, please, Morency? That'd be the best. It'd be like, okay, yeah, we don't even have like one other Austrian. It's unbelievable. But I really like your pick with Sepp Straka, Gabe. And I always do these picks before I make mine. And Straka made my top 10. You know, you can't bet everybody, but he will be added. I'm going to tell you something, Morency, for a top 20. You might not even have to lay juice. I got to double check his top 20. It might be like plus 110 or like.
No, he's plus money top 20. He's like plus 150 or something.
That's amazing. That's I thought
he's also a hot starter, Cam Straka. He's definitely worth I'm playing my three guys actually. I only got three guys. I'll add some people, whatever. But I got three guys: Xander, gold; Corey Connor, silver; Sepp Straka, bronze. I'm going to play them top 5 each way, etc. But dude, Corey Connors could be the first round leader. Xander's, we've seen Xander start off hot often. And also, Straka's a hot first-round starter as well. He's 33-1. Xander's 14-1 to be a first-round leader. It's pretty good odds.
See, that's the point. This is what I talk about, people, and me and Gabe try to tell you on the show. Xander's 7-1 to win this thing, and he's 14-1 to be a first leader.
Double the one.
He went back-to-back for first-round leaders, ladies and gentlemen.
And remember, guys, in the old days, he would always start off hot and try to go wire to wire and fade as it went off. Like, he's a hot starter, Xander, normally.
I hit first-round leaders 3 weeks in a row because I rode Xander. And I'm going to tell you something, Renzi. Corey Connors, people don't know, one of the best first-round leaders out there. I'm betting him first-round leader, too. And another guy that we have, Tommy Fleetwood, is another guy that comes out of the gate hot. He might fade down the stretch, but Bovey.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Settle down, Bovey. He didn't win you the tournament. He finished fine. It's a golf tournament. There's 140 guys. Like, what do you want?
What's up, Bovey?
Hey, Paul. Nice to see you, too. This guy. Put it under your pillow, Paul.
Normally supposed to wait for the introduction, but Paul decided to jump in and troll you.
The pick already. My Tommy Fleetwood first-round leader pick. Cut his mic.
All right, come on. No, okay.
What's going on, Paul?
It's all good, man. Everything's good. What is that?
We lost Paul? You just froze? What is what?
What is that?
No, we've lost Cam. Do we have a problem with Paul? Is everybody lost? Now we've lost Cam's audio.
Is that me?
No, Paul. Chill out, Paul. No, it's not you. It's Cam's audio here. We'll get Cam's audio back.
I take it back, man. The Tommy Fleetwood thing. I'm sorry. I must have upset the guy.
Is it back or no?
Yeah, you're good.
Thanks. Jesus Christ. So you did, Paul? Walk in there, everyone's getting losing audio. Like, what are you doing?
All right.
Anyway,
there was no love for Fleetwood this week, at least here. Brady didn't pick him.
No.
And you know what, though, Cam? He's another one. He's almost like Morikawa in a way that, is this the stage that he steps up? I get the feeling that Tommy Fleetwood will be in the mix, but he won't end up getting on the podium when it's all said and done. Although it should be noted, Justin Rose was the Brit. Justin Rose won this one in 2016. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Fleetwood will suck, Cam, but if somebody told me Fleetwood, I'd say, yeah, you know what? Fleetwood finishes 8th or something, 7th or 8th type deal.
Good call. I think he's a great top 10 bet. I know Feinberg picked him, and he's a very good golf capper. I'm just going to say this. In one defense of Tommy Fleetwood, he went 5-0 in his Ryder Cup matches at this course with Francisco Molinari and destroyed every American team, which included Tiger Woods back in the day. Just saying, Tommy Fleetwood's track record here is impeccable. Better than the time we took him, Paul, where he failed in the final round. There it is. Fleetwood top 10.
We'll get back to the golf picks. Is the Olympic golf. The women start next week, so they're doing the men's tournament first. Starts tonight at midnight Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. And it's kind of a lighter night, as far as the basketball is concerned until Friday. I don't know if you saw the game earlier, Paul, USA and South Sudan. South Sudan getting 29.5 points. And I'm not going to say it was never in doubt, because there was a couple of times where it's like, well, the USA are a couple of threes away from really blowing this thing open. But give credit to South Sudan. They just kept firing shots, and they played to the final whistle, which you don't often see in the NBA. So, like I said last night, guys, it's freaking hard to beat somebody by 30 points in a 40-minute game. But have you bet any Olympics at all, Paul? Have you watched any Olympics?
I've watched. It's been great, actually. I love watching the gymnastics, but I have not bet anything. But I'm sure I will over the next few days.
I've been betting it on everything, including gymnastics, actually. And in fact, Tommy, if you can, get me the picture of the Brazilian girl. There was a Brazilian gymnast. She seriously face planted, man, in the warm up right before she went out. She was on the side warming up, and she jumped up on the bars there, and she's swinging around, and you just see her in the background go flying through the air.
Oh,
and she smashed face first, smashed her face open, and she actually went on to compete after. Actually, tough as hell. People were comparing her and saying, how come the Brazilian soccer players can't be as tough as she is? Right? They go down.
Good point.
But yeah, I don't know if you saw it too, Paul, the men's gym, the dude with the glasses, he's a big hit. He sat there for 2 hours waiting his turn, came out and nailed it. More on the other side.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fight. It was a big night of memorable moments.
Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Left hand from Ron Paul. Right hand right back from Mike Perry. Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and I have my respect, and I'm into this game, yeah, we'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC's 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. The Wicked Wednesday continues. Paul Bovey in the house with us right now in New York City. Cam Stewart with us. We've got the golf coming up. Track and field starts tonight, actually, as well, with the race walking. I was going to say I've never bet on race walking before, but I'd be lying. I think I bet on it the last Olympics, and me and Sherapan were watching it together. But the race walk 20 km starts tonight. So the track and field, for all you that are going to be betting on these track and field events, I'll have a bunch of bets for you a little bit later on. We already told you about the hammer throws and stuff, but we'll give you the breakdown of the 20K race walk of both the men and the women that starts early too. It's really early. They started 5 a.m. in France. And it's pretty cool. They're walking around the Eiffel Tower and downtown or whatever. It's outside. So they will get in a little early race walk action. Could see Paul Bovey being good at that.
Yeah,
walking fast, moving your hips, Paul. You could be an Olympian still, Paul.
Are you kidding me? I tell you, once I hit 12,000 steps, I literally shut down. Like I have to put ice on my back, my knees. Forget it. I'm not the guy for whatever it is walking. I got a 15-minute window, and I'm pretty much done. That's it.
What sport? What sport do you like to watch as a viewer? Like you do a lot of step climbing and stuff like that. So you're into endurance sports and stuff. Like what sport do you watch and go, damn, that's impossibly hard to do?
Well, I love to watch the swimming because I've gotten into swimming. I did a 1.5 miles yesterday in 32.5 minutes. So I am a swimmer. And I really marvel at these athletes because they're phenomenal. Swimming is a great sport. I'm sorry, I really didn't get into it till later in life, but I find that's the best sport. It goes easier on the joints. So I really like the swimming. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, the swimming is awesome. I really like betting on it. I like to bet on it more in the off season, like off Olympics and stuff, but it's trickier. Not that there's not lines, but you really got to be dedicated to really follow it. But water polo is another one, Paul, as far as difficulty. They're going back and forth, absolutely vicious. Like you're swimming, but you're also getting hit. People are like punching you and kicking you under the water. And, it's incredibly taxing on the body.
Canada beat China. I rode your pick. We beat the Chinese today in water polo. Good call by you. Excellent pick.
I've been doing very well in the water polo.
Yeah, I'm doing well. This basketball
women's water polo.
Yeah, man, I can't do it. I hate the basketball.
What, the basketball? Yeah, you've been a little off.
Yeah, probably Puerto Rico. I didn't cover by what? Gabe 36 points. That was a good pick. Thank God I hit that Australian girl, man.
You laid the points for the U.S. I'm sure you knew about 5 minutes into the U.S. game you weren't going to cover. You're like, this is not going to work.
I'm like 1-5 in basketball. Like, what am I doing? It's the only sport. Like, I'm going to stick to the water and the kayak and everything else. I'm done with basketball.
I guarantee you, too. It was 6-0 USA early, and everyone was like, good. They're going to smoke them. Next thing you know, it's like 10-6 Sudan. Ooh. People are like, oh, man, this is like, I don't know if we're going to cover the number. Like I said, they got up to like 18, 19, 20 at one point, 22 type thing. And it was like, okay, they're a couple of buckets away from like getting into the cover the number range. But South Sudan kept punching back. We'll get people the updated numbers. We're coming up to a break here in about a minute. But Paul Bovey's got a college football future he wants to share with us, which we appreciate.
Yeah.
And, normally we talk NFL football. NFL starts tomorrow, Paul, preseason, Hall of Fame game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I have no pick on the preseason NFL game tomorrow night, but I started to get into college, as I said I would a couple weeks ago. I've played a couple win totals, and I think there's still some value in these. And guess which conference I looked at first? I'm sure you know which one it is.
SEC.
No. You should know. No. Okay. I'll give you a hint. Ben Roethlisberger.
Miami, Ohio.
So you're a Mac guy. That's right. We forgot you're a Mac guy.
I'm a Mac guy. I'm a Mac guy.
Did you take a look at Central Michigan? I was looking at their win total this year. Actually, it's pretty low.
It's low, but they were horrible. They were horrible last year.
They have bad quarterback play, and I don't know if they're going to get good quarterback play this year. That's their problem. They want to throw the ball, and they can't.
They had bad quarterback play, but they had poor secondary play. They do return 5 starters, which is a positive, but their pass defense was woeful last year. So maybe they could pick it up. It is low, but I think there's other teams to look at.
I like it.